Week on Fox. Chiefs in San Francisco, Super Bowl rematch. Battle of two quarterbacks whose reputations are enthusiastically defended on this very show. Okay, here's how the two quarterbacks' numbers line up. Mahomes completing a better percentage of his passes, but Purdy's got the yards.
Purdy's got better numbers this year.
Passer rating,
Jeez, Wiles, that wasn't even me this time.
I was just shocked that you said that, so I dropped that.
Well, the numbers are the numbers.
That was
Whether
my
I
jaw
think he's played better is a different thing, but the numbers are unequivocally better.
Any chance Purdy outplays Mahomes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't mean I think Patrick Mahomes is not as good as Brock Purdy. He's obviously the best quarterback in the league. But Brock Purdy can certainly outplay him in this game. It's one metric, okay? But it's passer rating. And if you go by passer rating, Patrick Mahomes has had a better passer rating than the opposing quarterback one time this season. And that was the first game against Lamar, and he did play better than Lamar. But the last 4 games, he's had a lower passer rating than his opponent. And Brock Purdy's passer rating for the season is 100.5. Patrick Mahomes has his season high is 101.9 for one game. The other 4 games, he's been under 90.
He's been in the 80s every other
Yeah, I mean, so if you go, again, it's only one metric, but if you go by that, then Patrick Mahomes has been outplayed 4 times by the opposing quarterback.
But nobody actually thinks
well, he's still clutch, and he still makes winning plays, whether with his arm or his legs. But look, I'm not dropping the standard. I got skin in the game because I called him Jordan-esque before anybody else. And I love Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, you do too. But he is not playing well. I'm not going to go as far to say they're winning because of their defense, because he's, like I said, he's clutch. And he does come through when they need him, but he's not playing well. And Brock Purdy is. And Brock Purdy does have better weapons, too. Yeah, so I do think there's a good chance Purdy outplays.
So, all right, here's the thing. Because the passer rating stat is an interesting one, but nobody watched the game Monday night against the Saints and thought Derek Carr outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Nobody did. No, I don't think anybody watched the game against the Falcons and thought Kirk Cousins outplayed Patrick Mahomes. In this winning streak, in this 11-game winning streak, in my opinion, he has been outplayed once. It was Joe Burrow in week 2. You can go up and down the list of games. Nobody saw Monday Night Football and thought Mahomes played poorly and Carr played well. Nobody. Like, maybe we got lost in the fog of it, but that was, it's not an opinion anyone had.
You said Mahomes had a perfect game in a game he didn't even throw a touchdown.
To be clear, Brew, I said that before the show on the call, and what I was saying was that he made no mistakes. I thought that Patrick Mahomes in that Saints game made 0 mistakes. A perft game.
But you said he played perfectly on the air, not just on the
played perfectly, meaning he missed 0 throws. I thought he had 0 mistakes in that game. It doesn't mean it's the best he can play. To answer this question, so I don't think Brock Purdy is going to outplay Patrick Mahomes, but it's less about how well Mahomes is going to play, and it's more about America doesn't seem willing to recognize who the Chiefs are and the style of football they play. They are a team that is a old school, smash mouth, punch you in the face football team that also happens to have the best quarterback in football. And so they grind the other quarterbacks down. The other team, typically, the Saints didn't, but everyone else did, scores on their opening drive and then scores usually 1 or 0 touchdowns the rest of the game. The Chiefs' strength, because of the injuries to the guys on the outside and because of weakness at tackle, is their 3 guys up, the center, guard, pardon me. So they're going to run the football no matter who their running back is. And they are operating as if, as long as Patrick doesn't make any mistakes, no one can beat us. Now, Patrick has made a mistake in every game, and still no one has beaten them. So
the defense.
I think we are still discussing the Chiefs as if they're in a style points era that they're not. They're in a championship era. And so the Chiefs haven't scored 30 points on the playoff run. The last time they scored 30 points was against the Chargers last November, I think. It might have even been last October. It's not who they are. It's who they maybe were going to be this year if Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice had been healthy. They're not. So they pivoted right back to what has gotten them this 11-game winning streak, which is outstanding defense, ball control, and clutch quarterback play.
But but Mahomes wants to play much better. Like, I'm sure he wasn't happy with last year. I know he's not happy with this year.
Yes.
Yeah, he said
And
it.
so it's not like he said, oh, I'll just play mediocre football
No.
and our defense and run game will carry us.
No.
He's not getting it done.
So that part I disagree with you.
Statistically, of course, they're undefeated, so they're winning, but he is not playing close to his best. And that's why people are looking at them like, oddly, because we expect much more from Patrick Mahomes.
So I think people are looking at them oddly because they're bored. I think that it's boring to say the two-time defending champ with the best coach, the best quarterback, and the best defense they've ever had is obviously the best team, and they're obviously the massive favorite because it's not a good conversation. I also think that, and I said it, Mahomes, up until the Saints game, had made one terrible pass in every game. At least one, sometimes two. The Saints game, we're just going to disagree on. You hang the interception on him. I don't. I think it hit.
But when Josh Allen, not his fault interception?
No,
you mocked that.
No,
now we gonna say
right,
not his fault interception? It was interception.
No, correct. It is an interception, and it goes down in the stats. But if I'm watching the game and saying, did he, the moment, and we'll see this when we talk Kelsey later in the show or later in the week, the moment Rashee Rice got hurt, and Mahomes been playing sloppy all year up to and including that play. Since then, look at what Travis has done. Look at what Patrick has done as far as missing throws. From the moment that happened to, it's been 7 quarters or whatever it is, they went right back to tightening everything up. And so I do think there was a lack of attention to detail. I do think that there was a lot of sloppiness. And I do think that none of that showed up on Monday night, the last game they played. And so I'm not saying it's not his fault interception.
Okay. We're just kind of we're really shoveling a lot to, continue to elevate Mahomes and kind of downplay everyone else. Why do you think the run game is still able to be good? Because of Andy Reid. Why do you think they've been able to tighten things up and and still win despite Patrick Mahomes not playing great? And that's Andy Reid and Spags. That's defense. The fact that they have this inability to put up these points and still win, and the fact that they have ball control is literally Andy Reid's game plan, right? And again, make no mistake about it, because we could say, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes has been a great game manager and doing what needs to be done in clutch. That's definitely partially true, without a doubt. But also, Nick's like, well, they've been minimizing their mistakes, except Patrick Mahomes has made a mistake in virtually every single game, sometimes multiple mistakes, and yet they still find a way to win. Again, that's strategic game planning and great defense. Now, to say that people are just bored and that they can't accept the way the Chiefs are winning or whatnot, I think is really absurd. Because the perfect example of this, it will probably be for a long time, the Eagles last year. They were winning ugly, right? They were squeaking out wins. They weren't putting up a lot of points. Their offense wasn't looking great. Jalen Hurts was clutch, scoring touchdowns in overtime, like versus the Bills and whatnot. He was stepping up, was also having some ugly plays, turning the ball over. And yet there's a fundamental issue with this team. There's a problem with this team. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? And you can't say, oh, well, why should we give them the benefit of the doubt? Well, because the year before that, they went to the Super Bowl. So they would have deserved to have a benefit of the doubt. I did not give them the benefit of the doubt. I said this football is ugly. They were really lucky to win these games. And I'm actually consistent. So I say the same thing about the Chiefs. Now, make no mistake about it. Do the Chiefs deserve an extra benefit of the doubt because of everything they've done? Absolutely. But Greg Cosell talked about this on Colin. I might do that clip, I might not, depending on if I have the time. He talked about how nobody is arguing that Patrick Mahomes isn't a great quarterback. No one's arguing against that. But it can't be denied that he's fundamentally not playing great football right now. Greg Cosell said it himself. In fact, I'm going to cut that clip into it right now. That is exactly what I'm going to do because Greg Cosell says it perfectly. I'm going to set that up.
Well, I certainly can't tell you what's in his head, but I can tell you that the film shows that there's too many times where he is too quick to move. Now, is it possible that that's the case is because he's uncomfortable with his receivers and doesn't feel confident in waiting and delivering the ball? I don't know the answer to that. But there was a play last week where he clearly moved too soon, and he had Worthy wide open on a deep over route that probably would have been a touchdown. So he's every year is a different year. This is not a
So that proves right now that Patrick Mahomes did not play a perfect game, did not make any mistakes, clearly made a mistake. Greg Cosell is watching the film.
debate as to whether Mahomes is a great quarterback. We know Mahomes is a great quarterback. As you said before I came on, he's got a few Super Bowls that prove it. So we're not debating whether he's a great quarterback. But this is a different year with a different group of receivers, and he's playing as if he just does not feel comfortable staying in the pocket and letting the offense work. Now, maybe they'll get to that point, but we also know that there may be nobody better in the game at making plays on the move. He's so comfortable on the move with unbelievable vision.
Okay, but
So it's okay to admit that Patrick Mahomes is not playing perfect ball right now. It just is. Okay? This was cut a little bit weird, so hopefully it worked out well. But yeah, you hear Greg Cosell explain, right? No one's debating that Patrick Mahomes isn't great, that he's not a top quarterback in the NFL. No one's saying that. But the way he's playing right now is not top level. And it's not just because of the people around him. He's missing some throws. He's moving out of the pocket too soon, right? He's got some happy feet. So this idea that people are criticizing the Chiefs and Mahomes because they're just bored or that they don't understand hard football, old school football, that's gaslighting. That it just is. It's just not accurate. And so some skepticism is warranted. It's not to say that they won't find a way. It's not to say that the Chiefs aren't great. It's not to say that Patrick Mahomes isn't great. Nobody's saying that. And for those who are saying that, we know that then those people are probably really strong bias, but the vast majority are not. They're just not, okay? So we don't have to constantly cater to that fringe. But also, I love when people want to go all in on stats to prove their point. They do this all the time. They always show an infographic of Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen in the stats or whatever it may be, right? Joe Burrow versus whoever, some other quarterback with their stats. Look, this guy's got 105 rating to so-and-so's 99 and this or that. And they use that as facts, as truths. And now, when they show the infographic of Brock Purdy playing better, it's, well, he's not actually playing better, just statistically. It's only statistically is he better, but you don't watch those games. No one actually thinks that. And it's just like, can't find it right now. Where did it go? Come on, Brock Purdy. Where are your stats at? There they are. So, it's just, I don't know why we struggle to have such honest conversations about the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Watch the games. They do not look great. Are they finding ways to win? Absolutely. Why are they winning? Is it because of Patrick Mahomes' greatness? No, it's not. It's because of the best coached team in the NFL. They have an elite defense in the NFL. Andy Reid is a magician where he can bring in players off the practice squad. And you can't tell me it's Patrick Mahomes, because if it was Patrick Mahomes, his numbers would be better. He wouldn't be missing wide receivers. It's Andy Reid's ability to bring in Kareem Hunt and say, hey, I'm going to make you look like this is back to 2017 or whatever. That's not Patrick Mahomes. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. That's the culture. That's Andy Reid's game plan. It's the approach. So we're always having multiple conversations about the Chiefs at once. It's the obsession with Patrick Mahomes or the obsession with the Kansas City Chiefs. Someone tried to tell me that Stephon Diggs is better than Travis Kelce. And that's mind-blowingly absurd. Considering how great Travis Kelce has been throughout his entire career. Considering how Travis Kelce is first or second greatest tight end in the history of the NFL. And how massive he comes up in the playoffs versus everything else Stephon Diggs done. It's not to say that Stephon Diggs is a scrub, but this constant idea that Patrick Mahomes just keeps finding ways to win despite help it's just getting so old. It's absurd. It's insanity. Even Nick right here can admit Patrick Mahomes has not been playing great. But this is who the Kansas City Chiefs are. This is the genius of Andy Reid and Spags. This is awesome. Even when Patrick Mahomes isn't at his best, they still find ways to win. That's how dominant they are. You can still be a mega Chiefs fan. But I don't even care about the stats. Just look at how the game's unfolding. Look at the plays that Patrick Mahomes is making. Is he doing enough to win games? Absolutely. So am I saying that he is a bottom tier quarterback this season? No. I'm not. But in what world is 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions? And there should be more interceptions there that he got very lucky with some flags. And I'm not saying it's because the refs or this or that. It's just very fortunate. Because a lot of those interceptions that were called back, the penalty had nothing to do with anything. It wasn't one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, if you take away that penalty, then the guy, wouldn't have been intercepted. No. It would be like something that had nothing to do with the play. So we could literally have like 6 touchdowns and like 8 or 9 interceptions. Make no mistake about it. So it's just pretty funny to me, honestly. The constant moving of the goalposts for the Chiefs, for Mahomes, for Andy. We always want to downplay Andy, downplay Spags, downplay Travis Kelce now. Just go look up Patrick Mahomes' record without Travis Kelce. Don't think it's too good. We always do that with Brock Purdy. What's Brock Purdy's record without Christian McCaffrey? We can always do it for other quarterbacks, not Patrick Mahomes, apparently, because he is the one true king. Always interesting conversation whenever we talk about the Chiefs. Honestly, and that's why so many of these conversations can be so uninteresting to me, especially via First Things First. Personally, obviously, I do a ton of First Things First clips, but I'm just not a mega fan of doing the Chiefs clips because the conversation just gets so derailed, and it's just, and I'm happy Brew actually was like, well, what do you said that Patrick Mahomes played a perfect game, and now I know the Saints are a little bit more injured, but look what the Bucs did to the Saints. Look what the Denver Broncos did versus Saints. They beat them significantly more than whatever the heck the Chiefs did. And again, I know Derek Carr played for most of that game. I get it. So it's slightly different. But both offensively and defensively was improved for the Bucs and the Chiefs. The Bucs and the Broncos. Which makes that Saints game age a little bit worse, quite frankly. So, when you see some of the things that you're seeing with the Chiefs, that's why, because earlier they had a clip where it was like, is it insulting for the 49ers to be favored? And the answer is no, it's not insulting. First off, it's 1.5 and it's a coin flip. I think both these teams right now are just good, not great, not elite. Will it continue that way as the season unfolds? I have no idea. Truly, I got no idea. But both these teams right now are just good. I don't know how many elite teams are in the NFL right now. Honestly, it kind of is changing week to week. 1 minute I feel one way, then the game unfolds, and I'm like, okay, well now I feel this way. So, but as of right now, the Chiefs are not elite. Will they still find a way to win it all? Definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. But am I banking on it? Am I saying it's ridiculous to ever count them out? No, I'm not saying that either. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs? Patrick Mahomes. Do you think there's any chance that Brock Purdy will outplay Mahomes, even though they didn't really talk about that, quite frankly? So that question was only kind of asked into like for the first minute, and then it just turned into a whole thing about Patrick Mahomes. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.